Black Friday is coming. Many of the people in our communities love to shop and can't resist a bargain. If that's you, it can be hard to resist the temptation of a fantastic deal. And those deals are there by the bucket load in the run up to the frenzy weekend that is Black Friday. In this podcast, we're going to talk about how to break your shopping habits in general and hope that some of these tips sink in before you succumb and hit that buy button.
You're listening to the Declutter Hub podcast, bringing you tried and tested, no-nonsense tips and advice from the leading experts in decluttering and organising your home. Now here are your hosts, Ingrid Jansen and Leslie Spellman.
Hello and welcome, listeners. I'm Ingrid.
And I'm Leslie.
If you're new to the Declutter Hub podcast, you're so welcome. What you'll find is that we try and find a fun factor in the serious business of decluttering. And if you've been here for a while, you know exactly what we mean. So thank you so much for listening.
If you'd like to get involved in conversations relating to this podcast, it all takes place in our Facebook group. So come and join our lovely, warm, supportive community. To find the Facebook group, go to declutterhub.com/group to find out more. Or you can search for the Declutter Hub community on Facebook.
Well, hello, Leslie. It's time for another podcast. I'm so excited that we're recording here today, all cheerful and chipper. Because
cheerful. I'm feeling really cheerful today, which is a good thing. I don't know why I'm feeling so cheerful. Maybe it's because Black Friday's coming and I've got an opportunity to shop.
I was thinking it was like your nice, lovely, cheerful, stripy top. That kind of. I do like a red and a pink.
Yeah, red, pink, and beige and black. You have to watch on YouTube if you want to see what my top looks like. But you're looking very dour there in your black outfit.
No, it looks
cheery.
No, it looks black, but it's actually a really beautiful green, kind of a forest green. But it does look quite black. I'm sorry, I'm not here. I'm feeling all chipper. But yeah, it does look a bit dark, doesn't it?
It does. But anyway, maybe you need to go out and buy a new shirt. That's what we're talking about today. Did you see what we did there with that segue? So first things first, we're going to talk about shopping today, which is a very good time to talk about shopping because Black Friday is coming. You know, it used to be a thing just in the US, right? For many, many years. And all of a sudden it's expanded all over the world. And so everyone has got crazy Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all of the things wrapped up. And basically what it is for anybody who has clutter, it's a bit of a nightmare because it's like shopping on overdrive, isn't it?
You know what? I remember seeing the things on television in the news of people in the US running to shops, hammering on the window to let them in and then going all like crazy. And slowly but surely, it's the same thing has happened here. And I'm like, what has happened? It's gone a bit mad, doesn't it?
Yeah, but before we start going in on the Americans having sort of started this Black Friday frenzy, the Boxing Day sales in the UK are the same. So basically, it's the first day after a big holiday. So there's a lead up to it where things are promoted heavily on the lead up to Thanksgiving or the lead up to Christmas in the UK and everywhere else around the world, example. And then the day after it, the sales start because that season is over. And that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
So we've kind of adopted that in the UK, and I'm sure people have everywhere else in the world as well, as a great promotional opportunity for retailers is the bottom line.
Yeah.
It can be a good thing because, you know, particularly if you're celebrating Christmas or any other thing, and there's a lot of festivities going on, right, in sort of the December time where people buy things as gifts, and it can be a good way to secure a deal. So we're not saying it's all really bad, but you need to be intentional about it. You can't just go, oh, that's a good deal, I'm going to buy that. Because if you're a cluttery person, then that's going to really add to your woes, isn't it?
I think, you know what, they tempt us with all these 50% off, 70% off, 90% off. And we kind of get, I think, caught up in the whole, like, I'm getting a bargain this is great. I'm happy. And I think we tend to maybe go out to maybe get one thing, but then when you're in the shop and you see all these things that have got the music on, you see people kind of around you filling their baskets, I think you kind of get a buzz from it, and you can really be tempted to buy far more than you ever planning to that day.
I think that's it. Yeah. So let's talk about you and I in the shopping front, because I think anybody who's listened in for a while knows that we have slightly different shopping habits. And so I veer towards the kind of love to shop side of things, although I am intentional and it's infrequent, to be fair, and under control. You just don't like shopping. Bottom line. It doesn't excite you, it doesn't, but you do like to go out and buy nice things, but you will buy for, I need something for that event. Recently when it was your 50th birthday, you're like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to go to this shop and I'm going to get an outfit for my 50th. So you're very intentional about it. I'm less intentional, but I will go, I need to upgrade for the season, and I'll go out and I'll buy a few things at once, but then I won't do anything for 3 months. That's my shopping. And I don't buy online at all. No. And I definitely don't succumb to deals. Like most of what I buy will be full price, most of it.
Yeah, I know. I find sales rails really hard.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, I would love to be that person who can kind of go find the bargains, and I just can't do it. I find it so overwhelming. All of the different sizes, most are muddled, and the styles are muddled, and then there's sportswear together with nice, and I just can't. I already find it tricky to get a good outfit together. So trying to kind of run through whole sales rails, and I can't even see it on the mannequin or something. I'm like, oh no, I just can't do it. So no, I don't really go to the shops a lot. I mean, when I go, I try to kind of get more things. So I'm like, okay, while I'm here, I might as well try 8 things on. And then I've done that, and and then I'm done. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's a really interesting thing, shopping, and how that makes you feel. I was listening to a podcast this morning and it was a podcast that was recorded in lockdown, and it was Louis Theroux talking to Helena Bonham Carter. And so they were talking about, so Louis was recording and he had his shorts on and his slippers and his socks because he was at home in lockdown, and we all remember what that felt like. And then Helena Bonham Carter was talking about the fact that she was top to toe, kind of chose her outfit because she feels that clothes make her ready for the day. And so she needs a fully put together outfit, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting. So some people are not bothered about it, particularly when we're working from home. So, I definitely all the way through lockdown and now dress as if I was going out for the day when I'm working. So I don't wear my slippers and, I put full shoes on, full makeup, full everything, because that's what makes me feel ready for the day. And so it's interesting how different people regard clothing in particular. I mean, there's loads of other things that you can buy on Black Friday, but we're talking specifically about clothes here. So I thought that was quite interesting in terms of different people's perception of what that feels like. And that's going to then dictate what you buy and how you buy it. So we wanted to kind of record this podcast in advance of Black Friday to try and help people a little bit think about things. We're not thinking that in the next week you're going to change your shopping habits dramatically, but hopefully we can give you a little bit of food for thought. So we're going to talk about the emotions relating to shopping and some things that you can think about, and then we're going to give you some practical tips about the types of things that might help you curb or break a shopping habit, because it's a real problem in our communities, isn't it, Ingrid?
Yeah. I think one of the reasons why they leave their house is because it's so cluttered and they rather go somewhere else. So, but where do you go? You go to the shops or to the shopping mall, or just to maybe have lunch and break some time, and then you start to wander around shops, and then you're, I think, more easily tempted. So you get into this vicious circle, don't you?
Yeah, you do. No, it's an important thing, really, Ingrid. We're here to teach people how to declutter, but we're also very keen to tackle the habits that get us to that cluttered place in the first place, right? So we need to look at what it is that's making us want to buy things that we don't need, that then further down the line become excess or clutter. So that's why we're talking about this today. And certainly in our teachings, in our membership, it's a very key part of what we do, is tackling the clutter at source. And so it's not just about, oh, I've got too many things, let me get rid of those and have just what I need. It's about, let's look to the future and go, but I need that stuff to stop coming in so that I don't get back into this situation again. So I think that it's really important, when you were talking about shopping, to identify what our triggers are. And you've identified some of those just in the sentence that you just said, Ingrid, which was about, you know, you get bored at home, you want to leave the home that is cluttered and sort of see something different. You get into a habit. So sometimes shopping becomes a habit you go out with your friend, and that's what you do for a pastime. You typically go out with your friend, your mum, your daughter, whatever that is, and you go, oh, we'll just go to the shops, and that's what you're doing. And it becomes habit, doesn't it? You might go in your lunch hour from work, you might go after work. All of these things are habits that are very difficult to break. And I think it's important for you to understand the triggers, see the habits that are forming, and see whether they are detrimental to what you're trying to do in your decluttering journey.
I think it's key, Leslie. I think, of course, we're in a decluttering world. So, of course, our focus is on decluttering, like you said. But I think when the clutter levels go down a little bit, other things start to become apparent, right? Like, okay, it's nice that I'm now looking at this clutter and I'm letting it go, but I also need to start thinking about, how is this stuff coming into my home in the first place? What is happening here? Why am I doing this? What am I letting through that front door inside? And what can I do to break this cycle of having really high volumes? You can't just change what goes out of your house. You also need to change what's coming in the first place. And shopping is a crucial part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, it's all about that dopamine hit, isn't it, really? Particularly online shopping. No, not just online, but I think online, you can definitely feel how that works. You see like, oh, I want that, goes into your basket. It's like this process, isn't it? And then, oh, do you want to buy this extra thing? Do you want to buy this extra thing? And so, there's marketing, maestros at work, aren't they, in terms of like upselling you to things. And then there's also your own kind of, I love the thrill of a new purchase. Mm-hmm. And so we need to take a step right back and go, what is it about shopping that makes me really want to do this? Mm-hmm. Which I know, if I'm on a decluttering journey, is ultimately going to be detrimental. So it might be that you're like me. So for me, I like to shop. I don't feel it's detrimental because I like a throughput of stuff, and I'm happy that my donations are going to somebody who really can truly use them in a second life. Sustainability is a different issue, but in terms of the kind of cycle of shopping to donation to decluttering to recycling of clothes, I'm happy with where I am with that. There's work that I could do to be better. I don't need to buy as many things as I do. I could be more intentional, but it's not problematic for me. So I think we really need to take a step back and go, but is my shopping causing me huge issues at home that are just adding to it? I think you're right, Ingrid, in that once you start to go on a decluttering journey and see the kind of benefit of less, then you start to realize that shopping is going to sabotage the progress that you have made on your decluttering journey. So that's the first step in terms of, oh, actually, I don't want to buy that thing because I've done all this work and I love how my home looks, or I love how I can move things around on my rail in my wardrobe, and I don't want to buy more stuff. And so it's part of a big cycle, isn't it? And it's, but what comes first? What comes first, the decluttering or the curbing your shopping habits? What do you think? It's a kind of, it's all wrapped up together, right?
It is all wrapped up together. But I think what I see with my clients is mainly, you can only think about what's coming in as soon as you see the clutter go down. You can't, I think when you meet a client for the first time, you can't also say, oh, by the way, you need to stop shopping. I think they need to get that awareness of how much stuff they already have, how much stuff is now unused in their wardrobes, in their cupboards, for them to realize the volumes of stuff that they have. Before then you can say, okay, look at how many you have. So what are the gaps? Are there any gaps that you see here that you need to go shopping for? Or have you, and they normally always say, I have so much. I didn't even realize how much stuff I have. So it means I don't need to go out shopping. And that's when you kind of talk about, okay, so you need to go more intentional with your shopping. I think that's normally the way it goes. You can't just say, right, lots of clutter in this house, you need to stop shopping and we can work. I think it normally goes the other way around. It's the same with food and meal planning, right? Once you get the food levels under control and you need to, and you know what's in your fridge and in your freezer, then you can go, oh, I can meal plan now. Now I'm ready to go meal planning. Now I'm ready to think about doing a grocery shop every couple of days or every week instead of every day going into the shops and just topping up and topping up and topping up and absolutely costing me a fortune. But I think you need to first have a really good overview of what you have in your house to then make that leap to the next step.
So, what you're talking about, what the suggestion, well, you haven't suggested it, but you talked about the fact that you can't stop overnight. So do we believe then, as part of a decluttering journey, that you can almost go cold turkey on your shopping?
Yes, I think you can, but I think it's if you're doing and cold turkey your shopping and trying to declutter and being more, it's like, okay, I'm now going to, I need to do something about my weight. I'm going to eat clean, no sugar, not going out, not drinking any wine, just doing all the things at the same time. I think it's just too much. You need to gradually change those habits of, right, I need to maybe during the week start to eat more healthily. And during the week, I'm not going to have biscuits and chocolate and only in the weekend. You build it up, right? I think cold turkey is just something that you fall back then in a tremendous way. It's like when you go on a crash diet, you can't keep it up.
So what's the equivalent of that phasing in a shopping journey then? So you've talked about the fact that you can set goals and set habits that are more achievable. So what would the equivalent be in a shopping context?
I think, Leslie, you're right. You have to do it in a gradual way as well. You can't just say, well, I'm never going to go to the shops again. Because we have to go to the shops to buy food in the first place. But I think what is could be a really good first step is to go, okay, if you now go to the shops every day, I'm going to go every other day, or I'm going to go every 3 days, or I'm going to only go once a week. Or if you're always meeting your friend at the local shopping mall, can you do something fun? Can you go to go to the cinema, or can you go for a coffee, or can you, instead of wandering around the shops for hours, can you replace that habit? Can you, I don't know, we've got a mini golf course here in Blue Water. Can you go play mini golf? I don't know, but do something different just to kind of break that cycle of that habit that you have day in, day out.
I think one of the points is, you talked about doing something fun and that just kind of rolled off your tongue, but a lot of people find shopping fun.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know what I mean? So, if you gave me shopping or mini golf, I'm like, you know what? I'm doing the shopping now.
Oh, mini golf all the way, Leslie.
I'm like, no, do not want to do mini golf. So I think it's fine. I think it's really, thinking, what is it that is an alternative that will make me happy? There might be a mid step between shopping and mini golf that is like having a glass of wine or going out for a nice dinner or lunch or something. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, mini golf. Yeah, maybe I can see you going down that route, but that's your head talking because you don't find shopping fun. But a lot of people love shopping, and that's the thing. We have to cut something off from our lives that we absolutely love. And so, you hear me, Ingrid?
Yeah, I know.
Get on the wavelength, get on the shopping wavelength, okay? But anyway,
I don't think my kids like shopping either. So we were indeed in Blue Water the other day, and after about 2 shops, Anne was like, "Can we go home now?"
No one in our family has got any problem with shopping. That's the problem that we've got here. But anyway, so I think it's really important to think about. So just to sort of summarize the kind of things that we've been talking about, it's so important to understand your own triggers. That's what, where are you hitting that buy button? What is it that's making you go out of the house and shopping is your first and primary pastime? What can you do differently? Can you set some goals and try to sort of gradually change those habits? We can't do it overnight. We don't believe you can go cold turkey on this kind of thing. We think it's got to be done very gradually. Start to cut things out, start to find alternatives, things that you can do. All important things. So I think that's it in a kind of broader context of the emotions related to that and how you can start breaking those habits. So we're going to pop to a break and we're going to come back after the break with some more specific things that you can do to break those shopping habits.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back after your break when we're talking about breaking your shopping habits. And Leslie and I are just two completely different creatures, aren't we, Leslie? But we both agree that there's a lot of things you can do to help you with breaking these shopping habits.
Yeah, I think it all starts first and foremost with a budget, right? I think you've got to a budget needs to dictate what you buy. And, we were talking before the break about breaking things down into manageable goals, weren't we? And I think that a budget can do just that, because you can start to decrease that budget as time goes on. And so I think it's so important to have an assigned amount of money each month, each week, however you want to manage your budget, although it's probably better to do it weekly and monthly if we're trying to shift it, because a year is kind of a long time to stick with one. So I think it's so important to get a budget for certain things in your life that's realistic, assign it, and try as hard as you can to stick to it.
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of people talk about this because sometimes it's about compartmentalizing amounts of money. A lot of people love a cash system. That's quite hard now. We're going to places now. I mean, maybe not big retail shops, but a lot of places like restaurants and stuff like that. Although we're not really talking about restaurants. They're like card only now, so they don't even take cash. And so so everything else is dictating our shopping, really. When you go to little markets and stuff like that, they're not taking cash anymore, a lot of them. So we can't always do that. But you can find an equivalent. Maybe you can have little kind of pockets of money in certain bank accounts on certain cards that you can use. We don't want it to make it overly complicated, but somehow you need to have a system where when the money's gone, it's gone, and then you can't go back to it until there's a top up of that money, which will be next month, next week, whatever that is. What do you think about that idea?
Well, you know what? I think it's great because but it starts with realizing how much money you have. And I think that's where a lot of people, because, we used to have, I remember my mom having an envelope, I mean, not under the bed, but that was the money. And now, of course, it comes from a wall. It comes from a plastic card. And I think a lot of people have lost the overview of how much money actually do I have? How much comes in? How much have I got to spend? How much goes on your mortgage or your rent or your gas, your water, electricity? You need to take fluctuations throughout the year into consideration. And I think because we don't see the money anymore, it's really sometimes difficult to get that overview and know how much money you've got to play with and to spend on things that you want to enjoy. And I think that is a crucial part of creating a budget, of just take a piece of paper and just start to write some stuff down. And like, do I actually know where my money is going to? Because when you know that, then you can go, this is the surplus that I have. I need to put some in savings as well. Because if your washing machine suddenly breaks, you don't want to go, I didn't account for that, because they always break, of course, in the most expensive time of the year. You can count on it. So you need to have some of them, spare. And then you can go, okay, this is what I've got left to either go clothes shopping, shoe shopping, shopping for crafts. You already need to take in your food into consideration as well. That's an essential. And then come all the other nice things, clothing, hair, nails, makeup, whatever it is that you like to do in your free time and what you want to spend money on. You need to have a good grasp. And I think then breaking that down into a monthly amount and then breaking it down. Okay, so that means weekly I have, I don't know, £50 or £100 or whatever much it is to buy something nice, but I've got everything else taken care of. And then I think that is also nice. And of course, you don't have to spend that money, but it's nice to kind of have a feel for, okay, how much have I got? And some people, they maybe only go out once a month, but then they know, okay, this is my budget. So if I then buy one thing that is £180 and I've got 4 times £50, I got £20 left for something else. And I think it all starts to live a bit more in our heads what our budget is.
You're absolutely right. You do need a budget. And sometimes that budget might be allocated to kind of discretionary spending, I guess. And so it might not be like, this is my budget to go to the shops and buy clothes or whatever, or crafts or whatever. It might be, I've got, I don't know, whatever, £100 to spend this month on things that are not essential, for example. And you've got to then make a choice. Do I want to go out for dinner or go to the cinema, or do I want to buy a new top? Do you know what I mean? And you've got to make those judgments. You know, it's unlikely that you're going to be able to, maybe a lot of people do allocate money towards eating out, or, you know, food or whatever, or nights out, whatever that may be. And it's up to you to determine what that budget is. But you're right, it needs to start there. You know, we were talking about the transition from cash to card. And I think that even when you're on your phone all the time and the ability to pay on your phone now, it kind of takes another layer away. It's just another thing that you're doing on your phone, you know, like checking Instagram or Facebook or reading an email or paying for something. It's like you're not even taking a card out of your wallet. So you've not even got that mental leap. So I think it's even more easy now to just pop it onto your phone. You know what I mean? And you know, they're taking all of these layers out of where we do our little reality check and go, I'm paying for this. Do you know what I mean? And I think it just gets wrapped up in everything else on your phone. Do you know what I mean? I think anyway.
You are so right, Leslie. The other day I had to pay for something, and I could pay with my Google Wallet that's on my phone. I had, for just one split second, put my thumb on my phone, and it already went blip, and I went, oh my gosh, I hadn't even put my phone close to the thing, and it already paid for it.
Took it out of your hand. It was like beamed across the shop.
I know. I was like, wow. And they were like, yeah, it's like the raise or something. And I was like, oh, you have to be really, and I think you're so right. In the past, we had to get our purse, take out our wallet, get our card out, and then we still had time to go. But now it's blip. That's it.
No, it is. And, you know, and sometimes you're barely even looking at it. It's just like a little register now as well. And you're barely even looking at how much money it is. And, you know, it's just taking out these levels of consciousness, I think. And that's what it's all about. And so I do think it's dangerous. We're in a dangerous place, really, with taking all of our own accountability and consciousness out of things. And talking about that consciousness, you know, we've talked about budget, we've talked about money. And I think that layered within that, we need to shop intentionally for whatever we are shopping for, whether that's toiletries, food, clothes, craft. I'm trying to think of all of the things, household items, new kitchen appliances, or kitchen, whatever. We need to shop intentionally. We need to consciously decide that is something that we need in our life, that is going to add value to our life. And then we go out and look for that thing. I think shopping intentionally is the most critical thing to give you success in your decluttering journey. It has to start with the shopping. Ultimately, you know, it's as we said before, it's all completely wrapped up. And shopping intentionally is everything when it comes to a decluttering journey. But it takes a while to get there.
Good example. I asked my daughter recently to swap her wardrobes around. So I said, have a look, going through your wardrobes, go through it all, see if there's anything you don't fit anymore, you don't like anymore, take that out. We can put it into the donation station. It's going to be winter soon. Make a list. And she said, okay. And she came with a list and she said, I think I need some new pajamas. I want some new short socks, like these little ankle socks that are more of a thicker material that she really likes. I need to have a couple of long sleeve shirts, and I could really do with one pair of trousers. And I went, perfect. And we didn't get all the things when we went to Blue Water but we got a couple of things. But we went with a list. We didn't just randomly walk around. We've got no idea what she currently has, what we need, where the gaps are. You know, we just kind of went, okay, make a little list. And she wrote it in her phone. You know, in the olden days, there was me with my pen and paper, you know, me, old-fashioned one with my list on paper and pen. But now I'm going to put it in my phone, and I went, perfect. So that really helps. And of course, you know, when you see something along the way and there is budget for it, you can say, okay, actually, that's really nice. You could do with something extra. But the list is the basic thing, and not just going in blind.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of the signs of not shopping intentionally, particularly when it's down to clothes, which we're talking a lot about today, is when you have got stuff in your wardrobe with tags on months, weeks, years after you bought them. That was not an intentional purpose. Like, I did a little shopping spree a couple of weeks ago, but I have already worn 80% of the stuff that I bought. And the last thing that I'm wearing on Saturday for an event that I'm going to. So do you know what I mean? I think if you've got stuff with tags on, you're just buying that because you thought it was nice, waiting for something, it might come in, those kind of things. Yeah. If you've got loads of stuff in your wardrobe with tags, you've not been shopping intentionally, in my opinion. You've been shopping because it was a bargain, because it looked nice, because you fancied it on the day. So that's a kind of a bit of a warning sign of non-intentional shopping, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what's really important is when you do go shopping, write down every single thing you buy. Write it down. I bought a top so much. I went into a hobby craft and I spent I don't know, 14 or 20 pounds or whatever it is on crafts. I went to blah blah blah, and just keep track of your spending, because it will be eye-opening. And don't forget that £3.50 latte in your local coffee shop, and oh yeah, that muffin that you had as well, because all these things, you see your money disappear in front of your eyes, tapping away, and just being more aware of what you spend can be really, really helpful, and writing it down can really help you with that visibility.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that in general, if you feel like you're okay, that you need to write everything down. But I think if you're on the kind of habit tracking, changing my habits, I think that's when it's good. Yeah. It's all about raising that awareness. It's the same principle as taking everything out of your wardrobe to see what you have and visibly see this is the number of stuff that I've got. And so it's all wrapped up in that. It's about confronting yourself with what you're doing. That's what the writing things down. Like, I don't write everything down when I've gone to buy it, but that's because I'm kind of sort of in control of it, if that makes sense.
So
I think, but I think it's a fantastic tactic if you're on this journey towards breaking those shopping addictions, to write down, this is what I bought in October or whatever it is. And these are all the things. And oh, that was a heavy month compared to November when I only bought these things. And so you can kind of track it and see it, and sort of remind yourself. So yeah, very important.
So what are a few other little bits that people can do then to kind of curb their spending a little bit? Because we were talking about this in advance, weren't we? And we jotted some things down, and we said, oh, those credit card that retailers want to give you, that's a trap as well. When you buy this, you can get 20% off, and you can get a card and you can pay it off. Oh no. I'm like, oh no, I don't want that.
Well, I think subconsciously it makes you want to get to that amount. And so if they're like, if you spend £100 today, then you can get, I don't know, 10% off everything that you spend in December or something, I don't know, whatever it's going to be, then it makes you have a target for spending. And so it's entirely counterintuitive to what we're trying to do. So the same with reward schemes as well. Like, I rarely sign up for reward schemes. There are some shops that I know that I shop at a lot, and I will take their reward options. But if it's somewhere, I just think it's just extra, like, oh, if I need to get to that reward level to get it cheaper or whatever. So I don't have the reward schemes, and that's just my own personal opinion, and with the credit cards and all that kind of thing, because I think it just gives you a goal which you shouldn't have to spend. Obviously it's all in there. That's why reward schemes are so prevalent within retailers, because they want you to spend more at that shop. And now whether that's, I've said before, I shop at Marks and Spencer's all the time because I get a discount there because my husband works there. But pretty much 90% of what I buy is from Marks and Spencer's. So of course I'm going to have their reward scheme. Do you know what I mean? Of course I'm going to have their credit card, because that makes sense for me. But I wouldn't take out a credit card in a shop that I randomly bought one thing from, because it's just another kind of, so it's just another temptation there, isn't it? Saying, come and shop at mine. Come here and shop here.
Also, of course, lots of people shop online, so if you're feeling that you're succumbing to your online shopping habits, unfollow that shop, unsubscribe from their emails. If you're feeling like, you know what, I've seen inboxes of clients that have just got 40 different shops that they get emails from several times per week. Buy this, buy that. There's a sale. You can get a discount. And then when you click those open, it's so easy to go, oh yeah, that does sound like a good deal, without even realizing, but I don't even need it. But because it sounds like a good deal, you're clicking in, and then they give you the customer who bought this also bought this, and this is what you were looking at before. And before you know it, you've got 150 pounds worth of stuff in your basket while you just clicked on one email, right? So you have to be careful. Unsubscribe if you know, if you get emails from a shop that you shop at all the time, you will go to their website on a regular basis to have a look. You don't need the emails to tell you everything that's going on. You can be picky. Unsubscribe from all that stuff. Take away that temptation in the first place. And of course, when things are in your basket, just wait before you click buy now. Just wait. If it's late at night and you're tired and you've had a horrible day at work, or you've had a bad day with your health, shopping can really cheer you up and go, I'm going to treat myself to some nice new things. But then the next day you might have thought, oh no. And then you've got the hassle of it's all on its way. You haven't even tried it on. You might have to send it back. You're giving yourself lots and lots of extra work. So stop, think, go to sleep, think about it. And the next day when you come back and go, oh, hold on a minute, what was I thinking last night? Because online, we get sucked in as well, right? It's like the shops where they've got the music and the nice smells. You see everybody walking around with their little bags, but it's the same online. Other customers bought this, and you're like, oh, that looks good. Oh, I wonder, oh, they're like me. Oh, I must like that as well. Bam, in your basket. Here you go, another 15 quid. They know how to say that. That's their purpose in life.
Like you've succumbed to these marketing techniques, Ingrid. You seem to be very aware of that.
Well, you know what? Because you see it all the time. It's so easy to do because they want us to buy. They want us to part with our hard-earned cash. And it's so hard to say, hold on a minute, no, because they draw us in with their beautiful websites and all their different models and the different clothes, and hard to stay away. So I just don't go on there because I know.
Exactly. So just to sort of finish off today, what we're talking about, I think it's important to realize that when you're on a decluttering journey, this is part of that journey. And it's where you get to. Now, we're talking about this now because it's Black Friday next week. If you're listening to this in real time, let's call it that. And so we want you to think about some of these things before you start. Well, you will already be bombarded with stuff because the Black Friday sales start to come way before today.
Yeah.
And so you will already be bombarded, but it's going to come to a crescendo probably on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week. And so we really want you to think about this and think if there's anything that you can do to try and stop yourself from succumbing to those retail habits. I think that it's so interesting, Ingrid, isn't it? In our, we've talked about our membership many, many times and we absolutely love it. But one of our favorite things, actually, the thing that we're waiting for more than anything, of course, we love people decluttering their houses. Of course, we love the transformation pieces. But what we're all about is mindset change. What we're looking for, our ultimate goal is that the mindset of that person who has gone through a decluttering and organizing journey, yes, they've organized their home and are super proud of it, but their mindset has shifted so much so that they do not want to sabotage that by going out and buying an excess of things, which is what brought them to this place in the first place. And so when our members are doing no spend months, this happens quite regularly. We have loads of accountability threads and people talking about what they're doing in the membership. And it's always lovely when somebody goes, you know what I'm going to do next month? I'm going to do a no spend month. And then they chronicle what they've done for the rest of the members. It's so inspirational, isn't it, Ingrid? Yeah. And we can see at that point, this person has got to that point where they're really, really intentional and really not willing to go back to that place where they were. With a decluttering journey, we don't want to just do it once. We want to continually go through that cycle to completely change your mindset and make sustainable changes in your home. This is not a once and done thing, not at all. And so that's what makes us super happy. And we see that all the time. And we love a forum post popping up when someone says, yeah, who wants to join me for a no spend month? We're like, yay, go for it, aren't we?
Yeah. And I think it's also like when you see I've made an inventory of my fridge or my freezer, and I'm going to eat out of that for a while, or I have done an inventory of my pantry and I'm going to do that, or Oh my gosh, with the membership, I've decluttered my paperwork. I've now done, I got a renewal in for my insurance, and I was able to phone around and look online at quotes, and I've saved £200 or whatever on my insurance. Those are the things that come when the clutter has gone down and you actually have the time and the energy and the space in your mind to start looking at those things. And that's when we go, wow, they have really gone over, they're reaching the pinnacle of what we hope that happens, because the membership is so much more than let's declutter some stuff. It is about all the things that you see happening, and it's lovely. It's lovely.
It is lovely. And it's, and the difficulty that we have sometimes, Ingrid, is kind of explaining that initial investment into a monthly, a quarterly, or an annual membership is going to reap so many rewards in the long run and save you like tenfold over what your membership fee is. And it's a difficult marketing message to get out there when somebody's right at the beginning of their journey, because ultimately when you see a decluttering and organizing membership, your focus and your mind is taking you to, I want to declutter my living room. It's not taking you to, I don't want to go to Walmart every week or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And so it's so interesting, and it's one of the many things that we love. But as you say, that is when we believe that people are getting to the pinnacle there. Our job is done at that point, isn't it, Ingrid? Do you know what I mean? So because people have made that shift.
Yeah.
So I've enjoyed talking about shopping. Are you going to get anything for Black Friday, Ingrid?
I don't think so. I can't think of anything. Maybe Anne once has put something on her list for Christmas, and that might be a smart thing to get for her in the Black Friday sale.
Yes, absolutely. If you can go in early, we do. I mean, Steve's a big shopper in our house, and so he buys all the Christmas presents and stuff. So he definitely has got an eye on the Black Friday sales, and that's good because it's intentional, right?
Yeah.
So things like that are great. But so anyway. Black Friday done. I feel like I want to go out shopping with you one day and try to,
Actually, you know what? I think I would actually enjoy that, Leslie. Because I think you've got such a good eye for. You always look so lovely. You've always got really nice outfits and things. I think you would actually. I think it would be fun. I think we could.
We'd come out of it alive. Do you think we come out of it still friends? If I demonstrated the same level of honesty when we were out on a shopping trip,
you're like, no, take that off. That looks rubbish on you.
And you might come back with a kind of, oh my God, I thought it was going to be a nice thing. I've literally been like reduced to tatters. All the things that I'm wearing are wrong. Well, maybe one day. Yeah. When we go on our round the world trip together.
Yeah, exactly. This is what we're going to do it. But anyway, we're going off on a tangent. So let's wrap this up. We would love for you to tell us, how are you going to navigate Black Friday? Have you thought about this? Are you maybe already tired of Black Friday? You're like, I'm not buying a thing. I've done everything. But we would love to know. Tell us. Go to our Facebook group. Go to declutterhub.com/group. You can tell us there. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, leave us a comment. Or if you're maybe on our website, you can leave a comment as well. We would love to know. So thank you so much for watching and or listening. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks so much for listening to the Declutter Hub podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to us in your podcast player so you don't miss an episode, and we'll see you next week.